How's everybody doing? Yeah, that was yesterday's track. Yeah, I'm planning to release this one. I think I'm gonna release it on my own label. I've been kind of waiting for the right track that kind of speaks to the kind of music I would want to put out if I started a label. And I think this is kind of the direction I want to go, like more clubby-ish, not just like pure streaming tracks like typical melodic house, but kind of like long melodic journey tracks that like take you somewhere and go on like a journey, but at the same time they're very focused on the groove and like the danceability of it. So lots of drums and grooves, no long breakdowns with like no drums in it. And also no like typical songwriter type of tracks with, verse, chorus kind of structures. But anyway, it's not 100% yet, but it's probably going to happen because it usually happens if I'm talking about it and thinking about it, it'll eventually happen. I'm not the type of person that sits on the fence and then doesn't go over. Anyway, let's get started. We've got
all right.
Let me say Ratus remix. Okay.
I've always been searching for. The space between my body and my mind, where I just observe. Space where I can go deeper. Deep into the silent nothingness. I'm just creating space for what is still to come. Accepting what is and what isn't. I don't need anything when I'm here, because it feels like home. My natural state of allowing, listening, being.
Okay, yeah, I like the arrangement of it and melodies and vocals and everything's nice. I don't know if that's from the original. I haven't heard the original. But I think Mixdown could use work, especially like in the transitions. The effects and crashes and stuff are just so loud that they kind of take the energy out of the rest of the drums and the impact away from it rather than adding to the energy. That was the main thing that stuck out to me. I think the clap is like a bit kind of plain and dry and in your face too. I could maybe come down a bit or have like another layer in it that just gives it a bit of character. And I also felt like at points there was maybe a bit too many like breaks or like mini breaks where I just like wanted to kind of get into the groove, but it kept on like stopping and then having a break. Yeah.
Don't need anything.
Like there's a break there and a break there. I don't think that's necessary. I'd rather just like have one break, but that's just personal taste. I think there's another one.
Because
there's like another intro break thingy. I think there's like 4 breaks in here or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, the next person I'm going to do is, what was it? Nyky, Nyky? Because for some reason, his tips just aren't showing up, but I did check PayPal and they are there. This fella. Okay. Yeah, it's a cool tune. I enjoyed it. I think the melodies and harmonies are nice and the drums work and everything. Um, there's not much to fault it on, to be honest. I kind of was not a huge fan of this vocal. I think it sounds cool at points, but at some parts in the track, it starts to feel I don't know, just not like it completely fits the track. I think when it's like more subtle and like pushed to the back, when the track is more busy, that's when it sounds better. When it's like sticking out more in the breakdown, that's when I'm not a huge fan of it. The other bit was this drop here. Just when like the kick drops in, I feel like there's just too much going on to where it's like it's not clean enough for you to really feel the kick coming back in and like punching through. It's like there's too many like reverb tails and delay tails washing over and just like masking everything. So I think if you clean that up or like side chain it or something a bit harder, it'll feel a lot better over there. And then maybe that lead, that beep lead could have a little more automation on it. Yeah. All right. See who's next. Luca P. Another vocal. an account, yes, you still need to post it in Discord. I can't copy links from the donation message, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, obviously I know this vocal. It's the Lauren Lemont pack. I think the main thing about this track is it feels like the melodic ideas are kind of just meandering a bit too much. They're not quite forming like solid, memorable phrases. It's just like, notes are not playing in a rhythmic, catchy, like repeatable way. I think that's the biggest thing. The drums sound pretty cool. Like they sound okay there, but I think like over here, it's in fact everywhere. It feels like the essence of the break beat is not quite there. Like I feel like you need to layer in like a tambourine from like an Amen break or something to like really like smooth out the high end and make it groove better. At the moment it feels a bit too like chopped and not flowing as well as it could. And over here in the breakdown it feels really empty, and especially like in the breakdown the melodic phrase feels like it doesn't have any, like what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't have like a catchy kind of phrase to it. Yeah, those notes are just like randomly placed, it feels. There's no like, you couldn't sing that melody. Okay. Next up is Double K.
Fear can hold us back from what we want. But love can give us the courage we need. Hope can be the light.
Okay. Yeah, I think some of it is pretty cool. I think the vocal actually sounds quite nice, but it's got too much like low mids in it. So I think just like gently taking out like 3 dB or something of those lower mids will stop it from like sounding like that resonant, like muddy tone in it. And then I think another huge improvement you can make to this is to just remove that swooshy, kind of sounds like crystallizer or something that's really like giving this like bright shimmery texture that's running through the track. Like you'll find stuff like that. If you mute it, suddenly like your bass gets so much more definition in it. The mix just opens up and sounds like way cleaner and more professional. Like often like when you're writing these things and you like make this 8-bar loop, adding in like all these background textures and stuff feels good because you're kind of getting bored of the loop and they add detail. But actually in the context of the track, and if you listen to a lot of professional music, like, you know, like the Afterlife stuff kind of feels like more in this direction, you'll notice like a lot of the times it's literally just like kick, bass and drums and like almost nothing happening in the background. Every once in a while something happens, but it's like it's there for a few seconds and then it's gone, and then the track feels like clean and defined again. This one is just like it's always there and it's just doesn't sound that good. So I think that's the biggest improvement you can make on that. Yeah. Okay, Anonymous tipped £20. I remember somebody on here said something about that. Who is Anonymous? Fikey. Thanks, Fikey, for the big tip. Let's just go to your track. Looks like Tim Green from a distance in that picture, but not up close. So this one I can already tell you what needs to be improved just by hearing the first bit. Like all around, it just sounds like each one of the sounds that have been chosen are kind of, they just aren't, I don't want to use the wrong word here. They sound kind of cheap. I don't know, like, it's what happens when somebody is like still quite a beginner and they just kind of like choose a kick and then choose a clap. They don't quite select the right sounds that fit together really nicely. So like your kick, for example, is very like the transient sounds like, you know, somebody tapping their fingernail on something plastic. It's like really cheap and clicky and tacky, and I don't know what words to describe it. Like the clap is quite, it's quiet, but it's also like really like dull, and compared to the kick, it's got this super bright transient. It doesn't quite fit together. And then like the melody's decent. It's like got a catchy tune to it. But I think it's just all the sounds that are around it. Maybe that sound would work if it was like maybe a bit more like modulated, so it was moving a bit. But yeah, I think it's like the combination of everything is just making it feel weaker than it could feel much stronger if you nailed the right sounds. But the thing is, it's like, how do you teach somebody to do that? You really can't teach it. It's something that comes with experience. It's like you can't tell a toddler how to walk. It just kind of gets better at walking the more it does it. So yeah, my advice here is to just keep on writing songs and keep on listening to a lot of music and analyzing it and getting your ear tuned to what a good kick sounds like and what a bad kick sounds like, for example. And the same with all the other sounds. But yeah, I'll play through the rest of the track. Hey, Leo. Yeah, so like another thing you can work on is start playing with automation a bit more, like on your lead. You know, automating the cutoff, opening that up and closing it and opening it, and then start playing also with like your envelopes, the decay and the release, the sustain, all of that. But yeah, keep going, man. Just keep on writing music and keep on sending it in, and we'll keep on critiquing it. Alrighty. Sunk low. What am I doing? Where's your track, Sunklow? Am I blind? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think this track actually has quite a lot of potential. Like I like the melodies, and like the drums feel nice. Everything feels good. It's just like the mix down one, and the other thing is some of the drum hits are like too swung, or they're either just rushing the beat. But basically, there's like a lot of hits that are like borderline flamming, but they're not quite flamming, so they just kind of feel out of time. Um, like lots of little like snare hits and stuff. I think they need to just be pushed closer to the 16th notes on the grid. It sounds like they're hitting on like 30 seconds or something, and that's just like this overly swung feel when the rest of the beat isn't as swung. It just doesn't match up, and it ends up like destroying the groove a bit. But the rest of the drums are cool. I think the kick drum you could maybe like scoop a little bit out of the mid range. And then like mix wise, it feels a bit chaotic and like not that clean. I'll just like turn down these noisy synths and try taking out a little bit of high end from them and mid range just to like make room for everything else. But yeah, when I was listening to the intro, I quite liked the vocal chops, and when it like dropped in, it felt good. And I like the melody. Dun, 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 dun. Like that sounds really nice. So yeah, it's mostly just like mixing stuff that needs work and the drum arrangement. Leander. Half an hour warning, guys. I'm going to just turn off tipping. Okay. Yeah, I think the melody works for this kind of track and this idea, but it just felt like a bit repetitive and long to me. And I think it's because like there's really no movement in the lead sound, nothing noticeable at least. So yeah, if you really like nailed that sound, got it like nice and dynamic and add some modulation to it and some automation that's like, kind of grows through the track, then you could make that last nicely. The piano feels also a little bit um, like plain and like not like a nice high quality piano. So yeah, maybe like some work on that too, some more humanizing of it, try some different processing of it or something just to kind of make it sound a bit nicer. But yeah, and I think the main issue is that the track feels really long because there's not a lot of movement through that main sound. What automation specifically? Yeah, filter automation, envelope automation, playing with the decay and the release. That the sound becomes like short and plucky, and then it's longer with like a longer release and gets a bit washy, and then you tighten it up again, and like constantly creating this like movement and tension and release through automation basically. But I still think like even just the core sound is not that strong of a sound. Maybe try finding a different preset or keep the preset and try things like short reverbs with pre-delays on them to get like a more interesting space around the sound. Um, Short reverbs are a really strong tool that I never used for a long time, and I've been using them a lot lately. Take like specifically Valhalla Room sounds pretty good. If you take it and you bring down the decay on it to like half a second or less, and then bring up the mix amount to like 50%, and add a little bit of pre-delay so that it like almost sounds a bit like a slapback. That can make or give it an illusion that a sound is like way bigger than it is. Because if you think about it, if you make a sound really loud in a small room, it's going to have that similar effect. It's going to feel really big. And like, for example, if you let off a firework in your room, it's going to sound like a small room delay with a pre-delay on it and have like a slapback kind of effect to it. But if you let off a firework in a room that's like got, a foot of sound absorption all around it, it's not even going to sound that big. It's just going to be like a little dull snap. So you can use reverbs are super powerful for making sounds feel like different sizes and also like different distances and just for moving it around in a space. I think I need to do another reverb tutorial. Anyway, let's move on. James Jarvis. vocal over here, before I forget, sounds like it's out of time with the synth. Like it's dragging a bit slow. Okay, so I think there's some ideas in there that are working, that could work quite well together. Like the vocal, I think does work, but it's all the timing that's the big issue here. It's like the syllables are not like landing on the grid. They're landing late, sometimes early, and like especially over here with the effects, when the delays come on, then it starts sounding really out of time because now the delays are kind of accenting the out of timeness. The drum break is cool, like the high end of it is cool, but the kick is a bit too boxy. I think you need to get a bit more of like an electronic kick in place of that kick, or just take out all the mids and lows from that kick and layer in an electronic kick with it. And I also think that there's too many elements happening in there, too many things going on. The mix feels just a bit too overcrowded, like with like you've got a lot of like pads that are quite resonant and quite present in there, and they're fighting to get to the front of the mix, and it's just ending up overcrowded. But yeah, I think the song could definitely work, just needs to have those points fixed. Okay, where are we? Okay, we got 2 more songs to go, which is good timing. Oh no, I think we got 3 more. Okay, I'm gonna have to go move through those ones a little quicker. Okay, Petalas. Pat Allers with the SoundCloud link. I mean, a Spotify link. Yeah, I think just like going forward, I don't think I've actually mentioned this before, but I would prefer to be giving feedback on unreleased stuff so you can go back and improve it. Otherwise, I think people are just going to start using this as like a platform to promote their music, which is not the purpose. But I'll play it this time. Cool. I like the drums in it. I think they sounded really nice, like the actual sounds themselves, and the groove was strong too. Wasn't a fan of the vocal chop, the one that like is pretty constant through the track. But yeah, it was different and interesting. Okay. Third Eye is next. Okay, I'm gonna like skip forward a bit through this because it's quite long and I've got to go. But I'll give you some feedback now. I think the vocal is too loud, so it's like sticking out of the track, and everything else is too quiet. So it has like this effect where the track feels empty, but at the same time there's more than enough elements to fill it out. So you can easily solve it by just balancing it properly. Like you can turn down the vocal. Bring up like the drums, especially like the high end stuff, and then like the other melodic stuff can come up quite a lot. I would have this vocal like complementing the track, not being the focus of the track, because I don't think it's very strong, and it feels like almost like it should serve the purpose of like a pad in a track. It's not like catchy or anything. So I don't think it needs to be the focus. Yeah, somebody said the vocal sounds off from time to time. There are some bits where like she's moving from note to note where maybe that transition, the glide into the next note is a bit long and it ends up sounding a bit dissonant and out. I also noticed that. Yeah, this vocal is it's not doing it for me. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like that little bass synth over there sounds good. But I think like mix wise you can improve that a lot. Making like the kick hit punch like really hard, like a strong transient on it. And also like compressing that bass synth and layering it with like something noisy to like really make it smack you in the face. Like saturate and just getting like really big. Okay, I think I've basically given enough feedback on that. I'm going to move on to the last track, which is Nukes. Yeah, some nice ideas in there. I think this main, I don't know, people are saying it sounds like an Acid 303. It doesn't sound like a 303 to me. I think it's missing all the resonance. But anyway, I think it's something about it. It's like, maybe it's a little bit too loud. It's just not quite like grooving nicely with the drums. Like, I think it could just be either mixed better, or maybe it's the like the envelope that needs to be trimmed a bit, like bring down the sustain and shorten the decay a little bit, so it's like more punchy, more plucky. At the moment it feels, yeah, that's just like my intuition says that that's how it needs to be to feel as good as possible. Like the breakdown sounded cool, very Afterlife. And this, I feel like it sounds better over there than it does. But actually it sounds the same. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much other feedback. It's a cool tune. All right, guys. That's it. I got to head out. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a lovely weekend. And I'll see you next week. Peace out.